His wife cheated on him by giving another man an oral sex and filming it. What will he do? Let's figure it out. Enjoy. I'm going to try and keep this short and avoid irrelevant details. I can't promise anything, though, because I'm feeling emotional right now and not thinking clearly. Sharing this with someone will hopefully serve as a form of therapy. About a week ago, I accidentally signed into my wife's Yahoo account. She had not signed out, and I caved into my natural curiosity. I found a significant number of personal emails with subject lines that caught my attention, so I read about 30 of them and forwarded them to my email for safekeeping. I took a cold shower to collect my thoughts. The emails were responses to advertisements on Craigslist's back page and some adult friend finder site. Further investigation revealed that the advertisements were for NSA encounters with men during her work hours. This started back in December 2011, but it's possible it started earlier. The details of the advertisements are irrelevant to this discussion. Suffice to say, my wife proclaimed dissatisfaction with our intimate life and a need for good sex. This hurts the most because I'd always believed in open discussion about our sexual desires and needs. I never knew she had these desires, and she never shared them with me. If only I had known, I could have explored them and given her what she wanted. I decided to confront her about this. What other option did I have? So, while taking a cold shower, I printed off the emails and prepared to confront her. Somewhere along the way, I decided to look at her cellular phone. I just wanted to be sure. I wanted to be wrong. I had to know for sure before doing anything. About 2 hours after making this discovery, my wife arrived home from work, following her usual routine of taking a shower. I had never suspected anything about her after-work showers until now, and I found myself wondering why she insisted on taking a shower whenever she got home before doing anything else. Was she trying to wash away evidence of a recent encounter that day? Or was this an innocent action by a working woman who felt dirty after a long day at work? Off to the shower she goes, and I hear the water turn on. I dart across the living room to her purse and start digging. The first thing I find is a small package of lifestyle condoms. This is not a good sign because we have never used protection together. The gears in my head are in overdrive, and I can feel dread building within me as I discover her cell phone. It's an Android, and I access the gallery. Time stopped for me in that instant. Naked photos of my dear wife. She took these photos herself, and I had never seen them before. Luckily, I had my laptop out, so I copied the photos over to my computer for safekeeping. It's in my nature to preserve evidence, leverage, and ammunition when entering unknown and obviously dangerous territory. I then decided to read some of her text messages. I saw no evidence that any of these photos had been sent, but I did see one solitary text message that left me broken inside. It read, in part, "Thank you for the other day, you're a wild one. We should meet again," but she had not replied to it yet. The date stamp was 3 days old. My day had been shattered, my heart broken, and I was about to venture into hell. The evidence was there, staring me in the face, and I had only one thing left to do: to confront my wife with the evidence I had collected and watch my entire life disintegrate around me. I collected the papers I printed earlier, her cellular, and my laptop, and took a seat at the kitchen table. I heard the shower go off and knew that within 5 minutes my lifestyle would officially come to an end. I poured myself a scotch and waited for her to emerge. I don't drink but once in a great moon, and only when I am deeply troubled. She knows this, so when she emerged, she knew something was on my mind. She came over, gave me a kiss while she wrapped her arms around me, and asked what was on my mind. I asked her to have a seat and told her we needed to talk. I think she knew what was coming because the color drained from her face as she sat down. Her posture was that of a scared animal trying to remain calm and collected. She inquired further. The time was at hand, the moment was now. I didn't say a single word at first. I just slid the emails across the table to her and studied her reaction. At first, she didn't say anything. She just looked distantly towards the floor. I turned my laptop around and showed her the images I had downloaded from her cellular. She closed the laptop after seeing the first two and started to cry. I wanted to hold her and tell her it would be all right. I wanted to be close to her. I needed to stay the course. I took another drink from my scotch and looked directly at her. Neither of us said anything for a good 10 minutes until she finally broke the silence. The subject of our discussion, I am sure you already know. I confirmed that my wife was indeed cheating on me and that she had slept with 4 different men in the last 2 months. The most recent was last week and happened about 3 hours before I came home from a quick trip to California. It happened in our home and on our marital bed. To make the situation worse, that same night she and I made love. I also confirmed that she performed oral sex on these men. So now the knowledge that another man's mouth was on my wife's 3 hours before mine has me somewhat creeped out. She did mention that she has never had unprotected vaginal sex with these men, so at least there's that little tidbit of good news. But I find myself questioning the legitimacy of her answers. She professed her remorse over it and doesn't want this to end our marriage. She professed her unyielding love for me, her desire to be with me for all eternity, and how we could and should make beautiful children together. She seems to be legitimately regretful for her actions and genuinely frightened of losing me. She said that she is willing to sacrifice anything she needs to in order to save our marriage and repair the damage she has done. She took the initiative in front of me and deleted the photos from her phone. She called the man she had been with on speakerphone and told him never to contact her again, and she openly showed me the Craigslist advertisements and deleted them. She went on to suggest that we pack up and move somewhere quiet and private, away from the city, a small town perhaps, where we can work on our difficulties together without interference. So, what do I do now? Do I keep her and see if we can work through this? Do I let her go and move on to new and better things? Where do I go from here? What do I do now? We have been together for 7 years, married for 5 of those 7 years, and have a lot of history together. I'll be honest and admit that I probably don't know how to live without her. She is my world, my center. Perhaps it would be helpful to learn a little more about me. I'm 29 years old, and my wife is 27. She works at the airport, and I'm a self-employed/freelance web developer. Overall, I've never been good with women. In fact, I've only had sex twice in my life before meeting my wife. I'm shy and find it difficult to approach women openly. I'm selective of my intimate partners and like to have an emotional connection prior to any physical relations. This is part of the reason why I hadn't been intimate with many women before meeting my wife. I'm sitting here wondering if I'll ever find another woman to share my life with. Am I one of those people who are destined to be alone and hurt? I mentioned earlier that I had only been intimate twice in the years leading up to my marriage. Did I mention that those girls also cheated on me? It seems to be a recurring theme in my life, and my faith in and ability to trust the opposite sex is at an all-time low. So my questions are simple, YouTube. What do I do now? Where do I go from here? To what end? Certainly, here are 5 steps a man can take if he discovers that his wife has cheated on him. 1. Take some time to process your emotions. It is normal to feel shocked, angry, hurt, and a range of other emotions. Take some time to sort through your feelings before taking any action. 2. Consider seeking support. You may benefit from talking to a trusted friend or family member, a therapist, or a support group for people who have experienced infidelity. 3. Decide what you want. Take some time to think about what you want for your future. Do you want to try to repair the relationship or end it? 4. Communicate with your wife. Have an open and honest conversation with your wife about what has happened, how you feel, and what you want for the future. 5. Take action. Depending on what you and your wife have decided, you may need to take some concrete steps such as seeking counseling, ending the relationship, or taking legal action if necessary. Remember to prioritize your own well-being and do what feels right for you. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like if you loved this story, and let's move on to the next one.